Well, good morning again. Granny Gear, well, back on my front porch studio talking about, future plans, post Basso SV and post, we say, being spoiled by riding a fast bike because, it's got me thinking, it's got me planning, it's got me riding some more bikes to see what I'm going to add to the Granny Gear quiver. All right, let's talk about that. Roll intro. All right, now if I look familiar, said, didn't I just watch this video? Well, actually I'm filming two videos back to back because I'm going to tag this one on to my thoughts on my time on the Basso SV and how that fulfilled really a dream or a curiosity for me where I thought, hey, fast bikes for old guys, is that a reality? Well, go watch that video if you want to know more about that. Turns out, oh yeah, it is. But it's got me thinking because as I said, the Basso SV and that ride experience spoiled me. And now I get back on my Time ADHX, which is a lovely bike, but it is an all-road kind of bike, and in its genre, I think it's probably top of the class, or certainly got to be way up there. However, it's not what I was experiencing riding that other bike, and I think I want to experience that some more. Because I want to replace basically the Basso SV left in my repertoire of bikes. I think I'm going to replace that for sure. The thing is, what bike? I got a list. It's a short list, and I'm making my way through it. Now, I'm going to talk about the first bike I went and sampled. That's what this video is about. And then we're going to move on to another video. I'll be talking about the next bike that I've already ridden, but I don't want to talk about yet. And maybe I'm already coming to a decision. All right, let's get to this one though, because I spent some time on a bike that is right at the top of my list and always has been in that crop of what I would call new fast all-rounders, and that is the Enve Melee. Now, undoubtedly, you've heard of Enve if you've been in the bike world at all, especially high-end road, but of course mountain bikes as well, gravel bikes, because they make a whole lot of carbon wheels, very high-end carbon wheels, all the way from, like I said, road all the way to mountain bike. And they also make, handlebars and stems and things like that, seat posts. But they came out a few years ago with the Enve Melee, and that is their race-focused performance bike. They also have the Enve Mog, that's their gravel bike. But they make a few, not a lot of frames and things, and they don't sell complete bikes anymore. I think they did for a while. Maybe they offered that to bike shops, I'm not sure, but I think that program's ended. So if you buy a Enve Melee, which is what we're talking about, the road bike, the fast road bike, you get what they call a chassis. So you get the frame, the seat post, the fork, the stem, and the handlebar. And it is an integrated handlebar, although they have a system, I forget what they call it, is it en route? I think what they call it, their stem system, where the cables, hoses, it's not going to be cables, it's going to be hoses, are internal in the handlebar and internal through the stem and down through the headset into the frame, but it's still not a one-piece bar and stem, although that is available from them if you want that. But it doesn't come that way with the chassis, as I understand it. And that's kind of nice because it gives you the flexibility of like changing the stem. Like on the Basso SV, I would have liked a longer stem, but it's a big commitment because I got to change everything. Well, with the Enve en route system, I can just change the stem, which is a whole lot cheaper than buying a $800 handlebar, etc. So you get this Enve Melee chassis. Let's talk about the Enve and its personality. And then I went and rented one and I rode it. We'll talk about that. So the Melee, to my mind, sits in that crop of new all-rounders. It has, I would consider, generous stack. Now the reach is long. It's not shortened like the SV was by a few millimeters here and there. However, it has more stack. And so for me, who I can live with, that 2 to 3 inches of bar drop from the saddle, the Melee is approachable. Geometry on it is racy, and yet it has a reputation from the very beginning you watch the reviews of being a very comfortable bike to ride. In fact, almost to its detriment, where some people who tested it said, well, it doesn't have that flinty, hard racer feel that some of the more aggressive road race, especially full aero bikes, would be. And it also was pinged on a little bit by not being, aero focused enough. Okay, but the thing is, what is a negative for some people is a positive for others. And for me, I heard it's pretty comfortable. And I heard that, well, it's responsive and it's not full aero, and yet it is aero enough to provide a good profile in the wind for everybody that isn't spending time, regularly into the wind at 40 miles an hour. And I thought, actually add all that up, and the negatives for me, well, they're a positive. So I wanted to ride one because now I want to replace the Bosso SV, but I'm not exactly sure what. And all these bikes, guys, they're kind of expensive. So if you don't really want to make a mistake, if you can, because I'll be buying this. No one's going to give me any of the bikes I'm looking for, at least so far. However, if anybody's out there listening, I'm willing. All right. So, local shop, the Mob Shop, M-O-B, out of Ojai, California. Local shop, they are an Enve dealer, and they have a pretty full line of road, of Melees and Mogs, which is the gravel bike, and so you can rent them. And so I wrote the check, and I said, I'm going to rent one of these things for 24 hours. I'm going to rent a Melee. I'm going to go on a really good ride. So I rented a 58 centimeter version, and the fit was close to me. I came home with it. Now you got to get permission if you want to take it home with you. Normally it's just for the day, but I got permission. Got my tape measure out, and I compared it to my Time 80HX, and it was very, very close. The bar and stem weren't quite right. The bar was a little wide, stem was a little long, but only we're talking 10 millimeters or so here and there. So pretty good fit for me, actually. And I took it out on a really, really good ride. The ride I did was a climb on the Highway 33 out to Rose Valley, which is kind of a peak, and it's a 15-mile, mostly uphill climb. Starts off kind of gradual up this beautiful canyon. Is it Matilaha? I think is Matilaha Creek in the canyon. I'll be showing you, you can see that on the video. It's a lovely, lovely ride up a canyon that just gets prettier and prettier and prettier. And it's a very gentle grade at first. You're working, but not working too hard. And I'm pedaling the Melee, and I'm finding it to be an eager and willing bike to ride. They had it set up with 30s. They had 30 millimeter tires on it. And on the Enve 45 rims, which are not as high end as the 4.5s, but decent wheels. So I didn't mention it's running SRAM Force with a 4835 crank and 1036 cassette. Okay, so we had that. So I had good gearing. Basically what I had on the SV. And I found it to be a very willing. It was just an eager, smooth bike to ride. The ride felt good on some of the bad roads back in there in those back parts of the canyon. No complaints at all, especially with those 30 millimeter tires. And riding on it, pedaling, I kind of stayed in zone 2 on this climb, and no complaints at all. It went up really, really well. Got up to the top, and I planned to kind of shoot the video and talk about it, and it was really, really windy, and it's a lovely descent. I mean, the first 10 miles or so of that are just, and you think, this is going to be good, and then it was so windy in our faces going back. I was pedaling 20 miles an hour. I'm pedaling hard just to go downhill. Bummer. But I got to see what the whole bike as it was set up was like on a windy descent. And this is where the SV for me was a little challenging. The Bosso was certainly better. It was a more calm descender. It's got a little longer wheelbase. Geometry otherwise is fairly similar. It's the angles are just tenths of degrees slacker, but basically it's still a quick handling bike, and yet it was a little bit more stable. Probably I'm feeling a little shallower wheel on that, and so there was that going on. But it was a very willing descender. Man, I wish I could have really let it go because we were just struggling in the wind, and I was braking a little bit more than I would just because those gusts were so unpredictable. And it's not my bike, and I don't want to scatter everything all over the road. Ride completed. got back to home base with the Enve Melee. Now, thoughts on that bike and in my journey to looking to see what I want to ride. I liked it very, very much. And I think it would be a very, very, very good bike for me to own and to ride. Plenty of tire clearance. I didn't see any negatives to it. The right setup and time to get used to the bike certainly is something that I would not complain at all. You know what's that saying? I wouldn't kick it out of bed for eating crackers. You know what I'm saying? It's a great bike. But I got some more bikes to ride. And that's coming up in the next couple videos. I want to go try some more things because before I make a decision, I want to make the right decision because, well, I'm buying this. And I want to do well with my money. And I want to, how to say it? I want to love the bike I ride. And sometimes it's interesting, you know? You think the numbers are the numbers of the numbers, and you look at a bike like a Melee or something or whatever else I'm going to ride, and you look at the numbers and you say, well, it's just within fractions of degrees of the bike that I rode, that I'm comparing it to, and you think, same, right? It's carbon's carbon, wheels are wheels, tires are about the same, and you think, you know, and then you go ride it and you go, just didn't quite come together for me. And that is a mystery to me, why some bikes for the individual seem to be, ooh, love that. And others like, he's nice, but I don't know. It's a mystery to me. All right, that's it for now. I'll let you know in future videos, other bikes I'm going to be trying and what I'm going to end up with. I'm really not sure yet. And that is for a future video. You guys have a great week and/or weekend. And as always, well, go ride your bikes. And before you buy one, if you can, go ride it.